Hello, gorgeous. Today, I'm hoping you will join me on a venture into Boston. Dad joke number 1 complete. I have actually been to Boston. I got a Boston sweater. But anyway, this came joint first in our patron poll along with Mr. Blue Sky, and I bloody forgot. I'm sorry it's taken me so long, but there's no time like the present. If you're ready, so am I. So I had to check to make sure I plugged them in because that sounded so distant at the beginning that I was like, oh, maybe it's coming out the laptop speaker. They just turned the gain up ever so gradually in that guitar to make it sound like it was sort of creeping up on you from behind. Okay, let's go back. Oh, now that is a tash. I was listening out for more stuff gradually coming in. It sounded like there was a double effect on his voice that also seemed to creep up on me as well. Because at first I was like, is this doubled? Like, is there 2 singers? And I was like, no. But then I definitely heard 2 of him. So I don't know if that's like a chorus effect or delay that they're sort of gradually introduced or what. But it seemed that way, which was really cool because it sort of effortlessly added intensity to the song without actually changing anything in the arrangement, which means there's still lots of space left to fill later. I love the drums. I love the rim shot. It's a very satisfying, clean yet warm sound. And it's a really nice thing to do in a verse. Who the bloody hell is this? His range is incredible. The way that he started the verse, quite breathy and placed quite high, wasn't much openness or fullness. And you're like, oh, it's this sort of thing. Very nice. But then out of nowhere, I closed my eyes and I slipped away. Like, that's insane. He's just belting his socks off with really solid belt technique. He's brought twang in his voice for this part of his range, which is that effect where the epiglottis comes over, makes the space smaller, so you get ah instead of ah. Whereas he opened his vocal performance without any of the sort. He's completely transformed his vocal technique from one extreme to the other like it was nothing. His voice seems to be unusually naturally high for a man because this verse part, it didn't sound like it was high for him, but it is categorically a high note for a male. I turned on some music to start my day. It's not even low for me. That does give us a clue that he is a bit of an anatomical anomaly, which is very exciting. I think it was such a surprise because that melody would have sufficed if it was in the same octave as the rest of it. Lost myself in a familiar song. I closed my eyes and I slipped away. Like, it would have still been nice. It was a interesting, diverse melody as it was, even if it had stayed all in that octave. So the choice to put it up was really bold, definitely not a predictable, normal choice. It's just more than a normal song. Dad joke number 2 complete. I do recognise this. I think I've heard it in the background of something before. Oh yeah, I've heard this. Oh, cool. Oh, so nice. Wow. Wow, he's immersed. It's nice to see it's a full body experience for the guitarist. He definitely bloody looks the part. They all do. They've obviously had varying levels of success in their ability to grow a moustache. The lead singer probably winning. I don't think I've seen a moustache as lustrous as that. but they're all having a go. As a band, they are largely follically endowed, which is important for a rock band of the time. That's not the analysis she came for. I assume this is in the late 70s, early 80s. Let's have a Google. Yeah, late 70s. Well, mid to late 70s. No, 76. Could just leave it at that, couldn't I? I'd have to put a label on everything all the time. Gosh, lolly. I love that it looks like there was no sort of conversation about what they were going to wear. It's sort of reminding me of non-uniform day at school. So for those of you that grew up in more progressive parts of the world, you won't be able to relate to this. But in England, we have to wear school uniforms. And it's ridiculous. But 1 or 2 days a year, we got the privilege of paying £1 to come in clothes that we enjoy wearing. And it would be a chance for you to just really express yourself. You would spend the whole evening picking out something that really screams, "I'm unique." And so you end up in your classroom full of fellow 10-year-olds, all looking like they made an effort. And that's what's happened here. There's a vast range here, from silver pants to denim shirts to batwing sleeves, open suit jackets with nothing underneath. You wouldn't have got away with that at non-uniform day, but it's nice because it's really making me see each one of them as a star in their own right. The singer is quite distractingly marvellous, though, I must say. It's more than a feeling. He seems to kind of dipped down a little bit on the m, which might have helped him find that placement, which is above where his voice naturally sits. You do need muscle engagement, breath support, and all of that jazz. And it isn't too much of a big deal when it's just one note here and there. So for example, if he did like, more than a feeling, oh, and then he sang down here again, that isn't too difficult and you don't really need to prepare much for that. But the melody line that he sang afterwards would have been extremely difficult in his range. When I hear that old song they used to play. To sing that melody so high with so many words in that register is very difficult, and I'll tell you why. When I hear that old song they used to play, all of those different sounds have completely different consequences in the vocal tract, especially that transition between the word here and that. Here happens all the way at the back with that tight E vowel and a hiss of breath, and that is at the front of the face with the tongue putting pressure behind the top of the teeth around the alveolar ridge. So all the pressure gets shot forward, that, and then old happens at the back because we've got an O vowel, which is a vowel, so it's open, there isn't any consonants at the front. So it's back, forward, back, song, they, forward again, because it's the.
What are you saying?
So with all of this shit going on up here, it's going to be very difficult to keep a perfect equilibrium of breath underneath the vocal folds, which is why if you just try this line somewhere that's high in your range, you're probably going to be tempted to, when I hear that old song they used to play, and just shout it, because it's just so daunting to try and think about keeping your voice balanced with good technique without pushing when you've got so many pressure variables. So I'm going to let you in on a little secret as to how this is possible. We have to be very selective about portions of the tongue that we use. You're going to see if you can maintain that position while using just the front of the tongue to pronounce the words. So if you make this sound, oh man, then you have the front of the tongue that's flexible, that can pronounce all the words, but the back of the tongue remains in a largely unchanged position. A position that will actually encourage you to use your voice less hard because it's going to end up resonating in a smaller environment, but also it's going to make sure that the tongue positions are not throwing off the placement of the voice, because the tongue sits right on top of the voice. So when we keep using the whole of it to pronounce all of the words, the larynx is going to get flustered. Oh man, when I hear that old song they used to play. When you listen to the quality of his voice here, it is sort of as opposed to really out and shouty. When he does dreamin', that big dreamin', it don't matter as much because the hole is just open, so the voice can just do its thing without any pressure interruptions. chord change there from a C major to a D sharp major. And there are loads of explanations using various different models of music theory as to why that's cool, but this song is in the key of G, so the fact that that melody note ended with G, get away, you would think, okay, it makes so much sense then to come home to G, walking away. But this is no nursery rhyme. And the theme of the lyrics is kind of threatening, because Marianne is walking away. It's not good news. You know, so they could have just done a minor chord. I see Marianne walking away. See Marianne walking away. We don't want to mourn Marianne's loss per se. We just want to feel unsettled about her vanishing. So what they've done, they've transposed the song up one semitone by doing what would be the fifth of the key above, the fifth of G sharp major. Walking away. We've moved. We are uprooted from our comfort zone, which is how we feel now that Marianne is walking away. So it's beautiful. Beautiful! And then what the... So he's dropped his larynx down in Marianne walking away. You can drop your own larynx if you feel the need, just by doing an impression of a bored teenager. I'm so bored. That's what he's done to get that dark tone in that moment. But then he just gets ridiculous. He's then jumped up a whole octave, but not in the same placement. It's not like in this. He's gone. He's changed the placement. And then up again. Which is super ambitious, because in order for that note to jump up from where it was, it really had to be stable in the placement. And thin dominant sounds can have the tendency sometimes to go a bit breathy, or a bit cracky. Not here. It's just no problem. It's just a walk in the park. You can just twang away and sing as many high notes as he fancies. Oh, I love that harmonised guitar. So classy, those guitar solos. The harmonics in the guitar. Such a beautiful way for the electric guitar parts to sort of transition. The acoustic guitar does obviously have that more plucky, big, warm sound, which is complemented beautifully by these little harmonics in the electric guitar, which has just done the more harsh, distorted sound.
When I'm tired and thinking cold, I hide in my music, forget the day.
Oh, you can really hear the delay here.
I used to know. I close my eyes and
Oh, nice! Sorry, I just needed a second to really take in that afro. I didn't realise the drummer was quite as glorious looking as that. We'll go back, just for me.
I close my eyes and she slipped away.
Nice. Oh! still get that trail. Oh my giddy aunt. Just when you think you know the song, you just don't. This just screams to me, second idea. Go with the second idea that you have rather than the first. So we have this kind of signature pinned melody of the I close my eyes, then she slipped away. And obviously, we would naturally think it's going to go back to da 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 da. But then we're like, nope, it's gone forever. It's the guitar's turn to take over the melody, and it's done that by doing these sort of string bends where you really get that sort of slipping sensation. He's just sort of said slipped away while the guitar is like sounds like it's slipping. So we're like, oh, okay, nice. See what you did there. You didn't see what they did there until you do. I'm gonna come back in and tell you again how she slipped away, but this time why not? Just when you thought his vocal folds were elongated to the max, they weren't. But that's not all, because we'd just kind of accepted then that the more than a feeling had gone. But no, we get dropped back into this guitar solo. Da, 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 da. We're like, oh, you tricked us, we're going back to the chorus. No. We're giving you another bar, a variation on that melody. Then a drum fill, and then into another section, which at this point, we're suspicious it is probably the chorus. But that's what we think. This time it actually is going to be the chorus. This song has an absolutely genius, unpredictable, yet extremely catchy and user-friendly structure. If prog is like a huge roller coaster, this is like a kiddie roller coaster. Like it still kind of gets you going, but you're always on a safe ride, largely rooted in conventional pop rock structure with twists and turns. It is not a normal song at all. Nothing about it is normal. He is not bloody normal. This voice going as high as it does, it's everything. No, it's not just the high notes, it's his ability to sustain them. His breath support is off the charts. I mean, the end note is carrying it for, what is it, like 20 seconds? But then also someone else is doing which is even higher, and that's also being carried along. Was it the bassist that was doing the backing vocals before? They're so euphoric. You know, they're not strained or struggled or too big or too small. They're just perfectly balanced the whole time, so you can just really ride them. And it allows you, in a way, to appreciate all of the other musicianship going on underneath it. He's really brought out the best in the excellent musicians that make up the rest of the band. This is really remarkable. It's kind of like if Bryan Adams and the Beatles and a-ha had a hairy baby. Yeah, I enjoyed that immensely. The Grateful Grape. This very unobtrusive grape here is literally the key to happiness. Practice gratitude every day and find the peace you have been craving. It's sweet and juicy, and there's a whole vineyard waiting for you. Well, I am very grateful for you as a person, and of course for choosing to hang out with me in these videos. It is ever so fun. I hope you enjoy your time here on the channel as much as I do. If you happen to miss the other analysis, which came joint first in the same poll, then you can pop over here now and watch it. I would love to read all of your suggestions for new analyses right down below in the comments or over on Patreon. Here's a ginormous hug for you if you made it to the premiere. And another ginormous hug if you're here at any other time. I love you loads. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again next time. Mwah. Bye! Oh, it's bright. Is that a spaceship? Oh, that's good. I love spaceships. I'm always talking about spaceships in my free time. Wow. That's a good Tinder bio if you want to die alone. But I digress. Oh, would you look at that? My headphones aren't plugged in. I think it's like 150 videos now or something. And I still haven't learnt to plug my headphones in at the beginning of every video. Hello, gorgeous. I've had a busy day, so I'm just having a tea. I thought I would do it off camera, but it's actually nice to have a little bit of company. What have you been up to? Are you feeling the change of seasons? Have you had enough reminders of how gorgeous you are? That's another one. All right, let's get on with it.